A baseless conspiracy theory is making its way into U.S. politics. QAnon was born online, and the FBI has called it a potential domestic terror threat. Supporters of the fringe theory have been seen increasingly at the president's rallies. His son, Eric Trump, has promoted it, and it's even been linked to former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. However, the White House has been giving indirect answers lately about how President Trump feels about it.
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much, which I appreciate. But I don't know much about the movement. I have heard that it is gaining in popularity.
Again, when I look at all the threats facing the homeland, this is not one that rises to a significant level. There are many other threats here domestically as well as overseas that we're focused on, and we'll continue to look at those and address those. So I can't comment and not going to comment on every fringe element and fringe group out there. There are many. There are many.
Does the president disavow, does he condemn QAnon?
Well, listen, we don't even know what it is. I can tell you, you've spent more time talking on it, Chris, than we have in the White House.
I don't know anything about that conspiracy theory. I don't know anything about QAnon, and I dismiss it out of hand.
For more, let's bring in CNET senior producer Dan Patterson. He has reported extensively on QAnon. Hi there, Dan. Nice to see you again. If you could start by giving us some background on what this conspiracy theory is and how it ties into politics.
Yeah, good to see you, Elaine. And the word baseless is a good place to start with QAnon, mostly because their origins are tied to internet message boards. The 4chan message board was kind of the heart of QAnon. Now, 4chan was known for being fairly loose with their rules and moderation, and as QAnon metastasized, it migrated to other internet platforms, some mainstream like Twitter and Facebook, some not mainstream like 8chan. The conspiracy alleges that a shadowy figure known only as Q is leaving messages for President Trump's supporters that there is a deep state conspiracy to remove the president through a revolution, and Democrats are also in cahoots with large tech firms to traffic young children for sex. Again, this is entirely baseless, and like a lot of things that happen on message boards, it tied in all sorts of other fringe elements, including Jeffrey Epstein conspiracies. Parts of QAnon have reached back to some of the Kennedy conspiracies. It is become a snowball of conspiracies that really ties into American politics in a number of different ways, but it is hard to pin down the one thing that QAnon is. Unlike other fringe political movements, such as the Tea Party, which grew into a large policy-oriented group of people of Congress people, QAnon has no one overriding policy objective other than their support of President Trump. In 2018 and 19, they then migrated to 8chan, and I spoke with the founder of 8chan, Fred Brennan, earlier today, and he says that the site's current owner, a gentleman by the name of Jim Watkins, keeps 8chan alive because it is financially profitable for him, because it drives a lot of web traffic, and because it's notorious. It keeps him and the website in the news. So this is hard to really, these are allegations and it's hard to prove, but 8chan has been rebranded. It is hosted in Russia, and there are a lot of shady elements associated with the current site's owner.
Well, I know that you've had some personal interactions with people who believe in the conspiracy theory. How did those come about?
Well, look, Elaine, like all reporters, I never want a story to be about me, but like reporters who cover QAnon and other conspiracy theories, it's impossible not to interact with these groups. After reporting stories or doing segments about the group, I and other reporters would receive thousands, tens of thousands of, it's called a brigade, of messages on Twitter and other social networks. They find your email address and they send you death threats, or what they call doxing. This is releasing like your home address and your social security number on the internet. Some of these people even sent to my home address snail mail, actual pieces of mail. This is intended, the FBI said this is intended as a threat and as intimidation to prevent reporters from continuing to talk about this organization and their support of the president.
It's really troubling to hear, Dan. Let me ask you about this. Prominent politicians who were already elected or worked in the Trump White House have ties to QAnon. In May, the Daily Beast reported then Congressman John Ratcliffe had an official campaign Twitter account which followed other accounts that promoted QAnon. He's now the Director of National Intelligence. And on July 4th, former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn had this to say.
Where we go one, we go all.
Where we go one, we go all.
God bless America.
God bless America.
So General Flynn isn't in the Trump administration anymore, but how do QAnon followers interpret these lack of denials?
They see this as an absolute endorsement. They feel that as though they have a direct connection. Whether they do or not, we can't prove, but they feel as though they have a direct connection with President Trump, with Vice President Pence, and a number of members of the president's administration. They also have manifested themselves in police and law enforcement organizations as well as the military. So whether there is a reciprocal relationship, we can't prove and we don't know, but we do know, and you can read many of the thousands of posts from QAnon across social media, that they do believe that when the president or the vice president speaks about the group, even these denials affirm the group's validity and purpose.
All right, we'll continue to watch and see as the questions continue. I'm sure we'll follow this. Dan Patterson, thank you very much. Really appreciate your insight. And a quick note, Dan will join us again tomorrow night with more on QAnon. We'll discuss Republican primary winners who promoted the conspiracy theory and how it could shape November.